Hello, welcome to Geeks Unleashed, episode 97. I'm Mark.
And I'm Jasmin.
And obviously new episodes are now out every Wednesday. So you can catch us everywhere on Wednesdays.
Oh yeah. Before we get started, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. We would also appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you know when we upload new videos every week. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, we appreciate that as well. We would also really love it if you would give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or Spotify.
I'm not in the garage this evening because we're recording at a slightly different time.
Yeah.
It's quite late. Like my garage normally has all my comics and stuff. So podcasting obviously you don't see anyway, but YouTube obviously has stuff behind me.
You're in the house today.
I'm in the house tonight because it is. Alexa, stop. Sorry, that was like really unprofessional. No.
Alexa is super nosy trying to get in on our podcast. Dang.
Oh, no. Her and Siri are not getting on. Anyway, so that's throwing me off anyway. It's like almost 1 a.m. here. In about an hour or so's time, I'm going on the Pop Culture Philosophers channel.
Yeah, Mark doesn't sleep is what we have decided.
Yeah. It just never happens. I can live off like 3-4 hours. Sometimes I just do 24 hours.
That is
why not?
Those days are long behind me.
Oh,
long behind me.
Those days are long behind me too. I can do 24 hours. So you know, there was once where I had a really, this is probably about 13 or 14 years ago, I had a really horrific cold, like cough, sorry. Lasted like a week, but there was a point in that week, about 3 days, where I just couldn't sleep. I literally couldn't sleep. Every time I tried to sleep, I was coughing my guts out. So I even tried things like sleeping, sitting up, you name it. I just gave up. I remember 2 days running, I went to work at 5-6 a.m. And I remember one of my friends invited me to go out on Friday, and I was like, I'll just drive over, I'm not going to drink. And I can't remember what it is I saw, but on the way home, I remember seeing things in the road and all this kind of stuff.
That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous.
And I realized, I was actually almost home when this happened. I realized I just needed to sleep. Basically, I started hallucinating.
Yeah.
It's because I hadn't slept for almost 3 days. I could never do that now. If I didn't sleep for 3 days, with kids and a dog, and a job, how would I cope? How would I watch all these Harry Potter films?
Exactly.
So anyway, on this week's episode, we're reviewing the 6th Harry Potter movie in our rundown to our 100th episode. So we're almost there, 97.
We're so close.
So close. Just so you know, Harry, my Pop Culture Philosophers guest appearance is going to be covering all 4 lethal weapons. I won't say any more here, but you can check it out. If you're going to listen now, it's obviously been and gone. But
you can watch the replay.
Yeah, you can watch the replay. So, jumping straight into our news. So, Jasmin messaged me earlier in the week, or a couple of days ago. I didn't know this was coming. And,
I was shocked that you hadn't mentioned it to me before.
And I'll be honest with you, when I saw it initially, my actual honest reaction internally was I don't care. Which is weird.
I'm shocked.
So HBOMAX dropped the trailer for the Pretty Little Liars Original Sin. It starts streaming it on July 28th. I watched the whole trailer and wow, it's a lot more serious than the last lot. It's a lot darker. It is very poltergeist. It's so the original Pretty Little Liars was very teenage girl, show. I would probably say early 20s. I got hooked on it because I like mystery type stuff, and the mystery stuff honestly went on way too long. Who is A? And I'll be honest with you, it was just getting more and more beyond ridiculous. A was constantly changing. Those 4 girls were just not left alone by whoever A was. It was so convoluted, so absolutely confusing and preposterous in the end, the whole show. But I still loved it. I still loved watching it. It was just such a crazy mystery show. But I kind of felt like its day is done. They did a spin-off with two of the characters. I forget the name of the spin-off now. Well, actually, they did two spin-offs. I didn't watch either of them. So at seeing this, I started thinking about the Gossip Girl reboot that they did. I think that's on HBOMAX, isn't it? And so I was like, I just about got into the new Gossip Girl. And one of the reasons I liked the new Gossip Girl is because it kind of built on the original. And obviously they brought back Kirsten Bell, the voiceover, and now we've got Pretty Little Liars, which doesn't look like it's associated at all with the original. So
okay, that kind of sucks though.
Only from the trailer, it doesn't look like it's associated.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be set in the same town or something. I don't actually know. So I will watch the pilot. But I'm not really one for like dark supernatural horror. Like,
that's fair.
Because it plays in my mind. Like that's why it was. That film Paranormal Activity.
Oh no, can't watch that. Cannot.
I watched the first one, and I honestly would never ever watch the rest of them again. Like point blank. Like honestly, that night I watched that film. I did not sleep. Like at all.
Yeah, I can do like sci-fi horror. I cannot do and slashers. Like I love slashers, but like I cannot do like ghosts and demons and that kind of. I can't do it.
No, all of that stuff I can't do. It really, really looked like it was down a serious thing. I'll watch it. I'll let you know what I think.
I was surprised though, because I always tease you, but like the teeny bopper stuff that used to be on the CW, like that was your jam.
That wasn't a CW show.
Pretty Little Liars?
No, that was it was ABC Family, which became that free thingy.
Freeform.
Yeah, it became that.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's the equivalent of the CW.
yeah. Well, but a more profitable version.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
all right, so our second piece of news this week, actually kind of funny, it ties into us and the Harry Potter marathon we're in the middle of. I don't really know how this came up in conversation, but Ray Fiennes was doing an interview for a new movie he has coming out. And somehow they got on the topic of Harry Potter. And he said that he had the perfect spinoff idea for Harry Potter. And his spinoff idea involves his current co-star, Jessica Chastain. And he said that there should be a Voldemort bride. And Jessica Chastain should play Voldemort's bride. And the premise would be, it's like this very complicated / dysfunctional romance story where like the only reason that they ever got together was because they were just completely obsessed with each other. But it was like hate obsessed, like just again, very dysfunctional. And he said that they would come together with all these incredible spells and they would have amazing sex. And then that they would have this like traumatic separation. And then they would use their magic to manipulate each other to keep falling in love over and over and over again. And like the more he described his version of a Harry Potter spinoff, the more it made me realize, like, I feel like this film has already been made with Guillermo del Toro and Crimson Peak, which Jessica Chastain starred in Crimson Peak as a crazy psychotic woman that was having a very inappropriate relationship with her brother, who was played by Tom Hiddleston.
You've reminded me of something really disturbing that I saw a couple of weeks ago. Did you know that they're making a Winnie the Pooh horror movie?
What? Why?
Have you not heard of this?
No. Okay. What? Why?
Type it into Google now. Go on. I just like see your reaction. Go on.
Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Yeah, okay. Winnie the Pooh horror movie. I can't. I'm not watching it. Like, not because I think necessarily it's going to be scary.
Oh, I have seen images from that. What?
Yeah.
That? No, thank you. No, that's a no. That's a hard no for me.
I mean, it's just like you don't like that's a kid property. Like,
Blood and honey is what it's gonna. No, that has to be a joke. Like this can't be real.
No, it's serious.
These graphics look like third-rate, like Photoshop stuff.
So Winnie the Pooh is now into the public domain, so they can do whatever they want with it.
Oh, that's terrible. That's a terrible way to celebrate that.
Wait till Mickey Mouse enters the public domain.
That's never going to happen.
I know, no, Disney would.
Disney would never.
Disney would like hire hitmen or something.
Disney would never. Oh my goodness.
Winnie the Pooh now is. So
Well,
what's
that
next?
is.
James Bond pornos? Like,
I'm sure there are some of those.
Oh, actually, yeah,
Definitely.
There probably is.
Yeah.
I'm not good with that. Like, so,
Me neither.
no.
Oh man. All right. So last week when we had Cookie on from Just Little Podcast, me and Cookie made fun of Mark because Mark does not know what sorting house or what the sorting hat would have put him into, what house the sorting hat would have put him into. So Mark is going to take a sorting hat quiz right now, and we're going to settle this once and for all. We have already established that I was Slytherin. I had no mixed muggle anything. I was 100% Slytherin. I am happy with that choice. I do not wish to be in any other house. Go Slytherin. So come on, Mark. Let's see what you got.
Okay. So Jasmin sent me the quiz pre-recording, and then I was like, "Come on, let's do it." So, okay. So I've no idea what these questions are. I'll read them along the way, and we'll just see what happens. So it's from.
By the way, both me and Cookie guessed that Mark would be a Hufflepuff, so we'll see if we were right.
I hope that's not true. Hufflepuff makes me think of that Nintendo character, the Cloud.
The Cloud.
Like it's like Kirby.
Oh, Kirby looks like a cloud to you?
No. With Hufflepuff, the house just makes the name makes me think of Kirby, the Cloud character from Nintendo. Anyway, right. So this quiz is from a website, proprofs.com.
Yeah, because Mark doesn't have an official Pottermore account, so we can't take the official quiz.
I mean, we could do that another time. Maybe we'll do that next week.
When we wrap it all up.
All right. Okay. So first question: what would I never like to be called? Ignorant. Oh, by the way, how do I?
Don't you just click?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry. At Hogwarts. Okay, sorry. Okay. At Hogwarts, you would want to study. Right. Okay. So it says everything: apparition, hexes, jinxes, secrets of the castle, transfiguration, broom flying, care of magical creatures. I'm going to say everything.
Okay. All right. A generalist. Okay.
Scroll to next question. What smell is most appealing to you?
Spearmint toothpaste.
That's not there. Like home, the sea, fresh parchment, a log fire.
Ooh.
I'm going to go the sea.
Okay.
Okay. A troll comes into the headmaster's study. Select the following items in order you would save them: dragon pox, almost completed by the headmaster; student records that go back 1,000 years; a book of indecipherable runes considered to have been owned by Merlin. So hold on. The troll comes into headmaster's study. Select the items in order you would save. Okay. So dragon's box, student records. Okay, I think the records would go last for me.
Wow.
Hey.
That'd be the first thing I save.
Oh no, actually, hold on a minute. Student records go back 1,000 years. So no, actually, that actually would be cool. No, do you know what? I'm going to rearrange.
Sorry, I shouldn't be influencing you.
Okay, no, because you made me think. Actually, it's 1,000 years. So records. Okay, records. Then. Okay, records. Then the book. Then the cure. Okay. What would you rather be? Trusted, liked, praised, feared, envied, imitated.
Ooh.
Wow. I can never be imitated. Oh, and you couldn't praise me enough. So okay, I'm gonna go with trusted. All right, okay.
This is gonna be disastrous.
You and your friends want to cross a bridge, which is guarded by a river troll. He says that one of you fights him to cross the river. What would you do? Okay, confuse the troll, have all 3 fights without telling the troll, volunteer for this fight, draw lots to see who fights. I'm going to fight all 3 fights. Okay. Which path do you take? A twisty, leafy path through the woods, a dark, lantern-lit alley, a wide, sunny, grassy path, cobblestone street lined with ancient buildings. Oh, do you know, I like the ancient buildings one.
Okay, all right.
What do you expect? What do you expect people to do when they think about you after your death? Miss me with a smile, remember my achievements, spread stories of my adventures. I don't really care. I don't really care. Like, I'm going to go with the adventures. After I'm dead, people should remember me as. I don't really like all these dead questions. Anyway, after I'm dead, people should remember me as the kind, the great, the intellectual, the bold. This is like a real blow in your own trumpet quiz now, isn't it?
That's how you get sorted into the houses.
Okay. I'm going to go with the great. Okay, what's the worst nightmare? Everyone forgets you. You're trapped in a dark room, standing at a height, being mocked by others. Do you know what? Being forgotten would be pretty sad. I mean, like what I'm saying is, like, if you woke up tomorrow, that's how I imagine it. You woke up tomorrow.
I mean, I imagine that's how Peter Parker feels.
Well, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go with that. That's pretty sad. That's like real isolation, loneliness. If you can take a potion that is going to guarantee you one thing, what is it going to be? I would not want to take. So, okay, these are the 4 questions: love, glory, knowledge, or power. I would never want to take a potion to get love. Glory. I would say knowledge. Out of 4 goblets, which one would you drink? The golden potion causes bright sunspots for a dance around the room. A slivery potion that sparkles. A potion that smells of plums and chocolate. A potion that makes you see strange visions.
I'm leaning towards plums and chocolate.
For me, the golden potion causes bright sunspots for a dance around the room.
That sounds like shots of tequila to me.
I'm going to go with that one. I don't really care about any answers there. Right, you are approached by a muggle who calls you a wizard. How would you react? I will ask them why. Is one of them. Agree, and I will offer a sample of a jinx. Agree and walk away. I will offer to call a mental hospital. I'm going to go with agree and offer a sample of the jinx. Okay, which instrument do you
Well, I certainly hope you are of age then, using magic in the muggle world.
Definitely of age. Which instrument do you find most pleasing to your ear? A violin, a piano, drums, trumpet. It's just the one instrument. Like, I wouldn't want to. I don't think I'd just hear drums, not trumpet. I think if you're like chilling, I'm gonna go piano.
Beethoven over Vivaldi.
If you could have a superpower, which would you choose? Read minds, invisibility, change your past, change your appearance, talk to animals, super strength. I mean, can you imagine if you could change your past?
I think it'd be kind of cool to talk to animals.
Yeah, but I mean, remember if you could imagine if you could know what the lottery numbers were, go back a week. Although invisibility would be cool.
Invisibility would be really freaking cool. I would get myself into a lot of trouble though, because I would definitely do a lot of eavesdropping if I was invisible.
You might see things you don't want to see.
Touche.
Imagine you could change your appearance.
Yeah, that one would be pretty cool too.
I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. All right.
If you have a chance to pick any house to be sorted into, you will pick Slytherin, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, sorting hat should decide where I should be. I feel like if you pick one of these, I'll just give it to you.
Not necessarily. Why? Which house do you think you belong in?
I don't want Hufflepuff. I'm gonna go Gryffindor. Why not? What's wrong
with Hufflepuff? Cedric Diggory was a Hufflepuff.
Well, what is hard to deal with? Hunger, being ignored, cold, boredom, loneliness. I think loneliness is probably the hardest one.
Man, these questions are kind of serious.
I know. They're not really fun, are they? Like, you enter a magical garden. Honestly, what do you look at first? Number 1 is the luminous pool with something in its depths. Number 2, a statue with a twinkling eye. Number 3, a silver tree with golden apples. A talking toadstool. The luminous pool. Okay. There are 4 boxes in front of you to open. A plain box that has a silver room that you know is the mark of Merlin. A golden box that is carved. A golden box that has carved feet that has secret knowledge and unbearable temptation lurk within. A pewter box which says, "I only open for the worthy." A tortoise shell box that, with a sound like something living, is squeaking inside.
Definitely not that one.
I think I'm going to go for the one that says worthy.
Okay, Mjolnir.
I know, that's what I thought of. Okay, what would you never like to be called? Ignorant, cowardly, selfish, or ordinary? Wow. I mean, like, none of them.
Ooh.
Ordinary.
Okay.
Which of the following would you most like to study? Centaur, merpeople, ghosts, werewolves, vampires, goblins, trolls. I will go with merpeople.
I think I might have picked the centaurs.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's see.
My results. What am I? Oh wow!
What are you?
Guess? Why don't you guess?
You're a Ravenclaw.
No.
What are you?
I got Slytherin.
Shut up! Really?
Yeah.
You don't seem too happy about it though.
Oh no. Or perhaps in Slytherin, you'll make your real friends. Those cunning folks use any means to achieve their ends. Welcome to Slytherin House. This house pushes you to achieve your full potential. Blah 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 blah. Carries on. Anyway, so yeah, apparently I'm a Slytherin.
We're ambitious. What can I say? Welcome to the cult of Slytherin.
I know, I don't like the idea of being a cult, like, but yeah, in the house, like, oh damn.
Yeah, you are disappointed. I can tell you're disappointed.
No, I wanted Gryffindor.
You wanted Gryffindor.
Yeah. Like I said, I wanted Gryffindor, and
I did. Like I felt like Harry Potter when I first took the quiz. I was like, "Put me in Slytherin, please. Put me in Slytherin."
Why didn't they listen to me? I thought the hat was meant to give you what you wanted. Like,
Nah.
Right.
Aha!
Okay.
You're Slytherin.
All right. Well, apparently I'm Slytherin. I'm quite shocked. I always thought I would not be that.
All right, I'm gonna have to hit up Cookie later. Be like, "Yo, Marcus Slytherin, can you believe it?"
I know. Well, he's going to hear this in a couple of days. I know that he'll be WhatsApping me. So right, okay. Sure. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is our movie of the week. Directed by David Yates, screenplay is Steve Kloves, sorry, obviously based on Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling.
Yep, all the same people. The only new addition in this film is Jim Broadbent plays Professor Horace Slughorn.
Budget is 250 million. Previously was between 150 to 200 million. Worldwide box office, it made 934.5 million. Previously made 942.2 million. That's all in US dollars. Yeah. So kind of there or thereabouts, really.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty much on par. Much on par.
So I'm assuming probably at this point you're a fan if you're going.
Yeah.
Like you're not just going randomly. Like, oh, I just fancy
you're not gonna walk up to the movie theater fresh and clean and be like, Harry Potter 7. Yeah, I have never seen the first 6, but let me go ahead and jump on that one.
So I messaged one of my mates last year when the Fast 9 came out, which we reviewed. I messaged one of my mates saying, "Do you fancy going to see Fast 9 with me?" And he went, "Yeah, sure, yeah, put 2 tickets." Anyway, went in there and he walked out. He's like, "I love that. That's great." And I was like, "Oh, brilliant." He went, "Do you know, I might have to go back and watch the first 8." And I was like, "Are you joking?" Like, and he went, "What do you mean?" I went, "You've never seen the first 8 Fast films?" I mean, I'm not saying like Fast 9 wasn't easy to get into, like,
Yeah.
but there was so much that like was referenced from the first 8 films. And I just said, I can't believe you didn't tell me. Like, if you just said I'd not seen the first 8, I would have said, like, I'll ask someone else.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like, though, if you're going to jump into the middle or, excuse me, the end of a franchise, like, that's a pretty good one to jump into. Those movies, aside from the characters themselves, the movies are pretty self-contained.
yeah,
Just like
I mean,
with the Bond films, I feel like you can jump into Bond anywhere and not really miss much of anything.
not the last Bond film, not the last Daniel Craig.
Well,
film.
no, not the last one, because the last one was everybody was interconnected, which I thought.
I think the Daniel Craig films actually. I'm glad that I rewatched. Did you see the latest one?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
like,
no.
I forget the name of it
What
now.
happens in the latest one?
I don't want to say if you've not seen it.
Okay, then yes, I have seen it. I know what you're talking. Yeah, I have seen it. Yes.
Do you know
I
how
saw it on a
ends?
plane. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where it kind of does wrap up the Daniel Craig saga.
Yes.
Okay. Right. I won't say. I know we're not talking about this film, but anyway, I really liked those films. I thought it was great. And that last film was definitely, if you've never seen any Daniel Craig James Bonds, do not watch the last one.
No, but see, that one, it was too emotional for me. I don't like my Bond that emotional. I like as horrible as it is, like old school womanizer Bond, like new girl every film, nobody to get attached to, just a bunch of people in gorgeous locations.
He did get attached
things.
He did get attached pretty much in every film.
Yeah.
Like, which was unusual. But I did like the fact that it was a saga with James Bond. Like, I did like that. And I was chatting to the comic shop guy that I go to, and he said to me, I really hope that they kind of, because obviously it's going to be brand new, not connected with this last lot. He said, I'd love it if they did like a brand new reboot, like say have James Bond set in like the 70s, like, but obviously like a modern take on it.
Yeah.
70s. And I thought it was like, that could be cool. So
yeah.
Anyway,
it'll be interesting to see which way they go. But
so
before
anyway,
we get into the film, I got a couple of pieces of fun facts. Did you know that Emma Watson almost did not return for this film?
Oh, I remember reading about this.
Yeah, she was dead set on finishing school, but the more she thought about it, she's like, I can't stand the idea of somebody else playing Hermione. And so she continued with the series.
I remember as well, she said something, I'm pretty sure I read this, that she also thought that people would really hate her if she didn't carry on with it.
Yeah, I mean, people are assholes. I could definitely see something like that happening.
She'd get a lot of abuse, I reckon, if she didn't carry on.
Yeah.
So.
Also, this is the only Harry Potter film that got an Oscar nom. It got nominated for Best Cinematography, which they had some scenes with London at the very beginning with the Death Eaters. Millennium Bridge gets destroyed, which if these films are really supposed to have been set in the 90s, like the books, then Millennium Bridge would not have been built yet, but hey, whatevs. But yeah, so this was nominated, did not win, but it was nominated. Speaking of Oscar nominations, John Williams laid down the foundation for the one-of-a-kind theme of Harry Potter, but John Williams only scored the first 2 films, which I didn't even know this. And we had different composers each film thereafter. So I did notice that they didn't play the Harry Potter theme as much in the credits as I've been going through the series, but I never realized it was because John Williams was not part of this film anymore, or part of the series anymore. Daniel Radcliffe said that he took issue with himself in this film because he thought his acting was so unbearable that he still has a hard time watching this film, and he just flat out said it's because I was awful and I'm not very good and this is just really hard to watch. Also,
he is quite rigid.
Yeah, but turns out Daniel Radcliffe was going through some shit. He said he showed up most days to set drunk. So homeboy got himself some help much needed help and was doing much better for the 2-7 films. Takes a lot to admit that. So that was interesting. But yeah, he's very adamant about how awful his acting is in this one. So we have 3 versions of Voldemort. Well, only 2 really, but 3 versions of Voldemort in this film. The 11-year-old Voldemort, the one that we meet in one of Dumbledore's memories, is actually played by Ralph Fiennes' nephew.
No way.
It was not on purpose, like he had to audition, but David Yates did say that he had a little edge because he could see a family resemblance between Ralph Fiennes and his nephew. So I thought that was really interesting that the guy who plays Voldemort, his actual nephew, is playing young Voldemort. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this was the thing that really bugged me about the film. We have the whole thing is about the Half-Blood Prince, but we have no explanation as to why that is Snape's nickname, like how he came to be known as the Half-Blood Prince, or why he calls himself the Half-Blood Prince. They do explain it in the books, and in the books it is because Snape is half Muggle. He was born to Eileen Prince, who is a witch, and his father was Tobias Snape, a Muggle, making him a half-blood, and then he took his mom's last name, Prince. So that is how Snape is known as the Half-Blood Prince.
I didn't know that, actually. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize that he was
I didn't realize that he was half Muggle.
Yeah, half Muggle, half
How on earth did he even become a Death Eater if he was half Muggle? Does Voldemort know that he's half Muggle? I feel like they're very particular about the people that they led into the Death Eaters.
I bet he doesn't, but we'll probably be proved wrong by somebody.
Yeah, somebody let us know. Somebody let us know. Does Voldemort know that Snape is a half-blood?
You know, literally Cookie right now is writing a text message to us. Somewhere out there in the future when this comes out in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Cookie's listening right now going, oh,
yeah.
Like,
how do you not know that? I can see it. I can hear it actually.
Get your facts right.
Yeah. Except he's very nice about it. He's not mean.
Oh no, yeah. No, he's not rude to us.
Yeah.
Well, he will be rude now.
All right. So, in summary, this film.
I was going to say, unless we start calling him by his real name, like then he won't like that.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, go on. You did a summary.
All right. So I'm gonna do a quick summary. So in this film, we start out. Wait, this one doesn't have the Dursleys either. No Dursleys in this one.
No.
This is the second film with no Dursleys. We start out. Harry is in he's in a subway. Well, I'm sorry, the tube.
I actually know where. Oh, before you go any further, I know where. No, he was not on the tube. He was on the train station platform, which actually was filmed in Surbiton train station, and I was there the day they filmed it.
Really?
Like, yeah. I didn't see any of them, and it was completely by accident. So I'd been out in London, and I was going back to Surbiton, and I got off the train, say late, like 10. No, I must have been somewhere between like probably around midnight. And they had like so this train station is quite a busy train station with like 4 or 5 platforms. And one of the platforms was like really sealed off. So they were waiting until all the trains had finished, and once all the trains had finished, and the trains finished probably around between 1 and 2 in the morning, and they were obviously that scene would have been filmed sort of around between, I guess, 2 o'clock onwards, and trains start again at 6 in the morning, so they wouldn't have had long.
4-hour window, which is not much when you were an entire film crew.
No, they wouldn't have had much if they wanted it to be done completely without passers-by like myself. And so when I got off, everybody was like, what's going on? And the train people did tell us that they're making a Harry Potter film. At the time I didn't know. Like
at the time you didn't care.
No, I didn't really care. If I'm being totally honest, I didn't really care about them. And but now I imagine if I'd have like gone there and I don't know, Daniel Radcliffe was somewhere in Surbiton, I still wouldn't have found him. It's a pretty big place. But I imagine that he was probably actually in the train station somewhere. Like it was quite a big train station. They got big offices and everything. So
that is so funny.
There. Yeah, like so whenever I see that opening scene, I'm like, I was there the day they filmed that. So anyway, go on. Carry on.
One of my friends ran into Daniel Radcliffe in New York when he was on Broadway, I think doing Equus, and they were waiting outside of the theater together. It was raining. They were stuck at a bus stop, and he was like, "Do you want to smoke?" And she was like, "Yeah." So he pulled out like roll paper and like rolled a cigarette, not weed, but an actual cigarette, rolled it himself, and they shared a cigarette together in the rain in New York.
Well, he just randomly saw this woman and said, "Do you fancy a cigarette?"
Yeah, they were the only two people standing out there in the rain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Talk,
And they just
talk about
chatted?
serendipity. Yeah, and they just had a chat because she was waiting for a cab because she had left her phone in a cab. Figured out where the cab was. The cab was coming back, so she was waiting on the cab so she could get her phone back.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, plot of this movie: Harry Potter is actually getting his flirt on with cute waitress at the subway station bagel shop. I don't know what you guys have over there. My favorite line from that beginning scene is when she's like, "Who's Harry Potter?" Because he's reading the newspaper. And he's like, "Oh, some tosser." And then she's like, "I get off at 11. You can tell me all about that tosser, Harry Potter." I was like, "Yeah, girl, get it." Anyway, that never happens because Dumbledore shows up. They apparate somewhere. Then we meet Professor Slughorn, and the story is afoot. So from there, we go back to Hogwarts. We've got a lot of drama. There's a whole bunch of teenage angst and hormones in this film. There is Lavender Brown, who is the most annoying character in this entire freaking series, which is saying a lot. I like her even less than I like Dobby. Then there is drama. Draco is going through it. You almost feel sorry for him. Almost, not quite. Drama. And then we have the biggest death in the entire franchise that ruined a lot of people's lives. A lot of assholes spoiled that one before people had ever even finished the books. I mean, this was a big thing, and anybody that was a fan of Harry Potter knew that this death was coming. But we lose Professor Albus. Oh gosh, I can't remember all of his names anymore. Brian. His last middle name.
Brian, yeah.
Dumbledore. So Dumbledore dies in this film, which is it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. So that's the summary. Harry Potter 6 is that these kids that we know and love, they ain't gonna be at Hogwarts no more. They got some shit to do. They got other things to do, and the rest of the films are gonna be. We still got a big battle, which they pulled from the 6th book. The battle that they have at Hogwarts is supposed to happen in book 6. I mean, it happens in book 6, but the director felt like there was too much action at the end of the film. And so they pushed that battle to the first part of the 7th film.
So I guess what are your thoughts on this film?
I am glad I rewatched this film because I remember liking it a lot less prior to this rewatch. I remember, I think it's probably because it annoyed me so much. Like I remember all of that teenage angst and the Ron and Lavender and Hermione triangle and Dean and Jenny. Like I just remember all of the teenage dating issues lasting so much longer, but they don't really take up as much space as I remember them taking up. So it didn't feel like so much of a chore as the first time or the first few times I saw this film. So I'm glad I got to rewatch it. It felt a lot heavier rewatching it this time. And I don't know if that just comes with age, but it's almost eerie to me, this film. Like the other films get heavy, but this is the first film that actually feels like it makes your skin crawl because like it's so creepy that you don't know what's going to happen. Like, why are they all going into Borgin and Burke, and what is so special about this cabinet? And like, why, like the way that the Death Eaters move through the black smoke, like we've seen that before in the last film, but like it seemed extra creepy in this one. I don't know. Everything just had a much creepier edge to me in this film. So it definitely was kind of, yeah, it was a much heavier watch than any of the other ones so far.
I felt like it was very different in style and tone.
Mm-hmm.
Like even from the start with just, it kind of just went straight into like real, just I don't know, eeriness. That's kind of how it felt. And I'm kind of glad that we didn't have the Dursleys in it. Because the Dursleys are jokey characters.
Yeah.
And whilst there was probably the odd moment of humor in this film, the tone had completely shifted. Like, I mean, every film had been getting darker.
Yeah.
But there was that point where I think it was like 30 or 40 minutes into the film when when Harry, Hermione, and Ron it was all snowing and they were sort of walking along, and that girl just gets dragged up in the air.
Oh yeah, when she gets cursed, Katie.
Yeah, and I was like, this is proper like horror movie type stuff. Like, and it's that was very dark and witchcrafty like. And Harry Potter I always kind of associate with more like family friendly type stuff. And that is something I think a young kid would probably be quite sort of spooked out by. And so that for me was just like a real standout moment, because I was just like, this is a real definitive moment in this whole franchise of actually this isn't for kids anymore. This is like adult type, you know, like 18 plus. And I think so we've let our kids watch the first couple of Harry Potters, but not anything beyond like the third one. So we sort of agreed they're quite dark, and just wait till they're a bit older. I think we may have let them watch the fourth one, but that's beyond that we've said no until they're a little bit older, because they're just extremely dark. But yeah, anyway, so I enjoy this film. I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed the style, the tone. Like I say, it's always nice to me that I've got that memory of walking down the train station platform and knowing that like Harry Potter's opening scene, I was there that night. Like, I mean, I didn't see anything, but you know, I could see there was
you were breathing the same air.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe was somewhere nearby. Like, you know, like you know, it's crazy to think. You never know. Like, you could have just walked past it and not even realized, because you wouldn't necessarily.
Especially somebody like you, because you were ignoring Harry Potter back then.
Yeah, probably didn't care. Like, and this was like 15 years ago or something. But no, overall I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film, and it was not a. I think the first 2 or 3 films you could have picked up without knowing what's going on, but this film was 100%.
Oh
yeah, this is a bridging film, another bridging film. But again, they're always done so well that they have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
But this one obviously was very much leaning towards. You could almost have had this as part 1, really. Like, and then Harry Potter 7 could have been part 2 and 3.
Yeah.
For me, those last 3 films. Now I haven't seen part 7 for quite a while now, which I'm looking forward to watching for next week. But you could imagine that really they were just really well planned together, and obviously the end and how it leads into the next film. Talk about this teenage angst that you referred to a minute ago. It just annoys me so much watching it, and even the fact that Dumbledore said to Harry, "Oh, you and Hermione Granger
that was so out of place to me.
Like, it was out of place. No, it was probably out of place for a teacher to say it, but it just made me think, like, everybody can see it. Hermione and Harry should have ended up together. Like, I've always thought that they were so much more compatible. Like, they just seemed to me like to flirt more, or well, I don't know, whatever it was. They just seemed so much closer. And Ron was just so horrible to Hermione. Like, you know.
And it gets better in the 7th film.
Oh, I know. Like, but he deserves someone like that girl who was all over him in this film. Like, Lavender, yeah. Like, that's the kind of girl he needs. Like, you know, I'm not gonna, to be honest, I've got no problems with Ginny. Like, I think Harry and Ginny worked quite well together. I loved it when they were doing Quidditch, and he's like, quiet, can everyone be quiet? And she's like, shut up, everyone.
Yeah.
Like just be quiet, whatever she said. And he's like, okay, thank you. Like, you know, all very polite, because Harry is a lot more polite, and Ginny, there's several times Ginny backs him up. I think Ginny
takes charge in this film.
Ginny's definitely got a huge backbone, and she's quite a strong character. For someone actually who's very quietly spoken throughout most of the films, when she needs to speak, she's all over it. I think Ginny and Harry are very compatible, but I also think Hermione and Harry are very compatible too.
I really wanted Ginny to end up with Neville.
That would have been a good move.
I would have really liked that, because Neville is my favorite. Like, of the whole franchise, Neville's my favorite.
Don't lie, you love Dumbledore. Not Dumbledore. Shit, I forgot his name. The dwarf guy. Like,
I'm not even telling you.
Oh, I forgot his name. Said it earlier as well. Anyway, right, okay, let's move on. So, do you have a favorite character in this film?
I do. Actually, I almost had 2. But the reason I did not pick Jenny was because I hated the way that she kind of like, I hated a lot of her dialogue. Like, I loved her actions. I love how, like you said, on the Quidditch pitch, she was very like, shut it, like, shut up and listen, he's talking. Like, she was very take charge in some spots, and then in other spots it was just kind of like, why on earth would you tie his shoe? I don't understand that. Like, I don't know why you would anyway. Like, I had a lot of issue with the way that the character itself was written, but I did love Ginny in this one. But my favorite was Dumbledore, hands down. The way that he is just very like, no BS with Harry, and he's very upfront, very honest. Like, he was trying so hard to avoid Harry 2 films ago, in the last film, and like that worked so disastrously that I really appreciated how he does a complete 180 in this film, and basically they are like attached at the hip. And just kind of the way that he doesn't beat around the bush at all. He's like, all right, man, look, we're going to this thing. I don't know what's going to be out there, but I'm telling you right now, you are far more valuable than I am. So you do what I tell you to do. If I tell you to run, run. If I tell you to hide, hide. If I tell you to leave my ass behind, leave me behind, because you surviving is more important than me surviving. And I loved that about him. I love that he knew what was coming. He knew what needed to be done, but also he knew that he was not going to be there to see it through. And so he did everything that he could to prepare Harry for like this next phase. And I loved it. I love that he finally stopped sugarcoating everything, and was just like, don't backtalk, just take my arm, we're going to apparate. Also, like, do what I say. Oh, by the way, there's going to be this other professor. He's going to try to recruit you. You need to let him. Like, we need to do all of the things that are in our ability to do, because we can't do this if we're wishy-washy about anything. So I feel like he set Harry up for a really good next 2 films.
I think there's 2 things you said, Ginny. And I'll be honest, I almost went with Ginny myself, just because I just love her strength. Like, just her silence and her strength. She's quite quietly confident is probably the best way of describing her. I do think she's a very good duo with Harry. That whole what you talk about, the time the shoelace thing. I mean, love makes people do things that they don't. When you're looking out for someone, like, I guess people do things like they don't think about. Like, just
like that scene didn't make sense, but like her running after Harry when the Death Eaters came to their house, that made sense. I can see you going after your man because you want to protect him. Like, I can see you doing that. I can't see you on the stairs talking about your shoes untied. Let me tie your shoe for you. No thanks.
I think if I can't tie my shoes, I'd like to think that somebody would tie my shoes.
If you can't, if you're incapable of doing so.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so Dumbledore, I do agree. Dumbledore is like the real linchpin of this whole franchise. Like,
absolutely
strong mentor to Harry. Like, even before he was a teenager, like he kept an eye on him as a baby, and when they knew Voldemort was around, he had that lady in the last film watching over him, and just the strength of Dumbledore. Dumbledore knew this war with Harry and Voldemort was coming, and I know, he was great. So I agree with you. But anyway, so Snape was mine, and what I liked about Snape was this is the beginning. So Snape was actually, like, really up until this film quite background, and this film we'll see is the kind of film where he actually steps up, and actually kind of what I like actually is how selfless he is, that he's trying to protect oh crap, what's his name?
Draco,
yeah. So he's trying to protect Draco. So Draco is a horrible person, and whilst Draco actually, I would say, moved from
Draco is crumbling under the pressure of familial bonds.
Yeah, but he's still you've got to, I always think there's a point in people's lives where they now make their own decisions. Like, I do get upbringing, like, to a point, and then there comes your own decision making.
Well, but we don't see his decision making until 2 films from now.
No, I know, but like, so anyway, he's still at this point. He's moved from comical sort of bully.
Yeah,
because he was always like the comedy, like
the comic relief.
He was like the Biff and Skull. From
yes,
like he was like that.
He was.
and then in this film, he was suddenly that his tone was very different, his mannerisms very different.
Yep.
And again, this moves with the style of this movie. So
Mhm.
anyway, what I like was that to come back to Snape, was that Snape obviously thought Draco is now going to be forced to do something that will change his life.
Yeah, forever.
Forever. Like if he kills Dumbledore,
there's
that
no
will
coming
stay
back
with
from
him.
that.
There's no coming back from that. People will hold that against him. He'll hold it against himself. There's no amount of redemption that he could do. I mean, yeah, okay, I do believe that people can be redeemed for things, you know, the things that they've done, etc. Not saying that people can't be redeemed for these things, but like it will always be with him.
Yeah.
Like, so what I loved is that Snape saw that was where this was going and stepped in. And obviously what Snape did was absolutely awful. It's a shame Snape in some ways didn't step up and try and kill off Voldemort instead, rather
Snape did exactly what Dumbledore asked him to do.
No, I know, but I love the fact that he was very selfless.
Yeah,
and protected Draco. I thought that was actually quite. I know that Dumbledore and Snape.
I like what you're saying. Like he took on the villain so that Draco didn't have to be.
Yeah. So he became the villain, and he kind of saved Draco from making such a huge life-changing decision. And the fact that obviously I know we've seen the last two films, but so the last two films, obviously Draco's in the future putting his kid on the train. That moment would never have happened. Like, I mean, maybe it would have happened, but how horrible would that be to be putting your child on a train with your other peers knowing you killed the former headmaster? Like,
right.
I mean, that's going to be such a cringe every year, putting your, on
your
child.
You're signing that kid up for some disasters.
Yeah. I mean, that kid would probably be bullied as well. It'd be like the sins of the father and the generational passing down. That child will be carrying that baggage as well. So Snape stepped in to try to save Draco from these, like you say, the familiar, the pressure of his father and stuff like that. So I just think what Snape did, the character of Snape was just brilliant. Like,
he really starts to come together. Like you're starting to put together the different pieces. Like we really saw him step up and actually try to help Harry in the last film. Dumbledore told him to do it, but still. But like in this one, the relationship between him and Dumbledore when they're fighting on the astronomy tower, and he's just like, "Do you realize that you ask too much? Like, does it ever occur to you that you ask too much of people?" And Dumbledore is like, yeah, but I ain't got a choice. So you have to do it. And I love their relationship to where it's like, yeah, I know the Dark Lord is messed up. And yeah, I know I did some bad shit when I was a Death Eater. But you know what? Like, even in my worst days, like I can turn it around. And I really am going to get behind this guy because I really do believe that this guy is the greatest wizard of all time. But like, I don't know, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to be between a rock and a hard place like Snape and still kind of come out with your sanity on the other end. So Snape would have been my third choice behind Jenny and Dumbledore.
I think we both picked kind of or would have picked potentially all the same characters.
Yeah. I think this movie just lays it out to where you really can't pick anyone else as a favorite. Those three shine the brightest in this one.
Okay, so any favorite magical items?
Not an item, it's a spell. I don't know what the spell is, but it's when Dumbledore and Harry go and find Horace, and he is squatting in some muggle's house because they're in the Canary Islands, and the house is trashed because the Death Eaters keep begging Slughorn to come and join their side, which I didn't realize this, but Slughorn, when he was at Hogwarts, he was headmaster or head of Slytherin house, so he was a Slytherin, which is why the Death Eaters are always on his ass. But yeah, there's a spell that Dumbledore uses where he just like waves his wand and then the house just magically goes back to the way it was. I was like, oh my god, that'd be amazing. Like be sitting on my couch like, damn, my kitchen is dirty, just flick that wand and clean kitchen, magic.
Imagine like every house party ever. Jasmin, okay,
yeah,
but I've got you.
Swish and flick. Come on, man. Like that was so cool to me. So that was my favorite magical moment.
I could have done with that probably about 16 years ago.
Yeah, I could do with that every week after I'm done cooking for the week.
So when I was like before I got married and had my own house, my parents had quite a large house, and they're massively downsized now. But they had quite a large house, large, extremely large plot of land, and we used to throw like huge parties. Like I used to hire like bouncy castles, and this was just friends. There was like no, I say no adults. I was an adult. Like I was like early 20s, like 24. Used to hire like so I used to help.
They have adult bouncy castles.
Yeah. So I used to hire bouncy castles. I used to set up DJ equipment. I had speakers all lined through the thing. I'd do food, etc.
Damn, Mark,
like,
you were a party animal.
I probably did this like 3 or 4 years running, and anyway, every year went fine. But one year, I think it might have been the last year. Yeah, some things did get trashed. Like my parents were actually fine. Like, because like we're generally we were pretty respectful. So we live at home. Like one of the wardrobes got thrown on the floor and smashed, and that was bad. And then there was another thing in the kitchen that got smashed, and yeah, I could have definitely done with that spill back then.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my magical item would have been liquid luck or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So honestly, it's like the equivalent of alcohol, but without being drunk.
Yeah.
And I don't say that alcohol gives you liquid luck. Alcohol gives you more like
liquid courage.
Liquid courage. This feels like the same to me after seeing the fact that Ron thought he drunk it when he didn't, and seeing what polite word can I come up with, but what an arse Ron became, and actually he hadn't even had any of it. Like he just thought he had. So really, in some ways, I guess that confidence was always in Ron, and he just didn't know about it. But I just thought, how cool would that be, just to drink some liquid luck? Every time you're going into an exam.
Seriously.
Bit of liquid luck, that'd be just brilliant. Every time I go and buy a lottery ticket, let's have some liquid luck. Like, scratch card. Yep. Yeah. I'll take 5, like all 50 grand winners.
Yep. Exactly.
I could do that liquid luck hands down. So never work a day in my life after having some of that. So anyway, so what's your thoughts on the structure of the movie?
This one, I think it is slowed down to me. Like there's still plenty of action, and I don't think there's a point where like things drag, but it definitely slows everything down a lot. There's a lot of emotion that they're trying to build in this one, and a lot of that emotion, it's like it's made in the silence. That sounds weird, but like there are a lot of quiet moments in this movie, and it's 2 hours and 30 minutes long, so it's got plenty of time for it. But there are so many moments where it's just either light music and like big scenery and just someone pondering. And I think that those are the little moments that really kind of build character, especially in this film, because by the time you get to the last 45 minutes, it really, really, really feels like this is the quiet before the storm. Like after the climax, it's like, you've hit that point of no return, and it's like, well, I guess I better get my mind right, because the only option we have now is to fight or die. Like that's it. So I really think that everything that they do in this one is done to set up the 7th one, but they do it in a way that you don't feel like you've lost anything with this one. Like, yeah, the teenage drama is annoying, but the Harry and Dumbledore going to get that Horcrux, which turned out to be a fake Horcrux. Like, just there's so many meaningful moments, but there's also so much where you as the audience, as you're watching it, you have time to ponder while the characters are pondering. So I think this film does a really great job of putting the audience into the character shoes. Because to me, watching it this time around, like you feel the emotions as they're happening versus like thinking back on it. And so I think that is something that the rest of the films really haven't done, because the rest of the films kind of don't give you that moment of pause to catch up and like realize what you're feeling. Because a lot of the other movies are just go, go, go. And this one really slows it down for me. But also, You were talking about the liquid luck as your favorite magical item, but
Yeah.
when Harry finally drinks the liquid luck, that sequence is my favorite scene in the entire film, where he's just like, wow, I feel great. I'm going to Hagrid's. And Hermione's like, no, wait, you gotta go talk to Slughorn. And he's like, nah, I'm going to talk to Hagrid. I had this feeling, like I got a feeling that going to see Hagrid is the right thing to do. And of course, like that's when he runs into Slughorn and all that stuff. But like just the way that he is so nonchalant and he's very much not himself. And Professor Slughorn is like, it's after hours. Like, I can't just let you go walking around the grounds. And Harry is like, well, you better come with me. Just like Harry didn't even have this kind of personality. Like Harry does not seem, of all the characters in these films, like Harry Potter is one of the least people that I'd want to sit down and have a beer with. You know what I mean? Like he just does not seem like that guy. And so watching him when he's drinking the liquid luck and just the way that he is so like snappy and just like aloof, I'm just like, yes, you definitely need you need a chill pill. You need to take more of this liquid luck stuff, man, because definitely took the edge off of you.
Like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3.
Oh God, no.
It's a joke. All right, yeah. Okay, so this film. To be honest, I always say it, formula type films, but we're slightly breaking formula now throughout this film. And definitely the next two, the formula's gone. But I just love again the world building. She steps it up, J.K. Rowling, with every movie. I just loved Slughorn just being a chair, and just there's always constant things in this world that we just never expect. And I guess in some ways, obviously we've not got aliens, but like with this franchise, it's kind of like anything's possible.
Yes.
And like just it's not just her franchise where anything's possible, but there's some very unique moments throughout, like, and even just little conversation throwaways, like between Hermione and Slughorn, like, what do your parents do? They're dentists. Like, like it's just so unexpected. I just the dialogue in the films is just really great. I do think Daniel Radcliffe is right. His acting is extremely wooden throughout this film. I just think even to this point, Daniel Radcliffe has not perfected his acting skills, and probably going to get shot by people. But like, honestly, like, I just think he's not the strongest actor, and is supported by people like Dumbledore and Slughorn, and these adult actors definitely carry the franchise. Although it might be centered around the teenagers, it's the adults that carry it. I do think Hermione is definitely stronger in this film, although she gave me Kirsten Stewart vibes at some point during this film, which is not a compliment.
That is not a good sign. It was her first crush, okay? Like
like, I do think Ron actually had improved. Like, he was less irritating than normal, but overall I thought it was a great film. It was structured well. The dialogue was great everywhere, snappy, sharp, funny as well in moments. I just love the tone as well, just how the dark start in the train station, which carried its way all the way through. I think it was good as well to see, especially like you said, Harry getting hit on in the cafe. Just them moving from teenagers to, I know they're not early 20s, but like they're kind of moving now into adulthood. They're probably
I also like that they blur between real world and like Hogwarts. Like there's a lot more of the melding of actual London with magical London.
Yeah, no, definitely. So just sort of round this out, and how would you rate it?
Actually, I am gonna go higher than what I originally thought. Before I rewatched it, I was thinking I'm probably only gonna give this movie a 5, like, because I just remember not enjoying it. But I'm actually gonna go 7 out of 10.
I think I'm gonna go I'm going to go 8.
Wow.
8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked this film. So,
all right.
Anyway, so next episode we'll be continuing our run to our epic 100th episode. God, tripping over my words there. We're continuing our run towards our epic 100th episode as we count down to our milestone. We'll be reviewing next week parts 1 and 2 of Harry Potter 7.
Ooh, so next one's gonna be a long one.
Yeah, I know. So I better start that early in the week.
Yes.
So, anyway, so you can follow us on social media everywhere: Geeks and Niche, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
And you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts: Google, Podbean, Apple, Spotify. We are everywhere. So please leave us a 5-star review and tell your geeky friends.
Jasmin always finishes off by saying "good journey." I would say respect the journey. So,
Oh, respect the journey. Good journey.
yeah, good journey indeed. Anyway, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.